God, what happened in the beginning with Frobic and the jump ball and all that?
They got the call wrong, and he was disappointed about it and said something. And I don't think he said enough to get tossed, but he did. So I don't know.
John, what did you learn about the post-Nerlens part of the season from this?
This was a hard game to start with, and we're still trying to learn how we're going to play offensively, what we're going to do defensively, and we came into an inspired team. I told him after, I've had teams come up here and get smoked like this. I've had a couple teams come up here and get smoked like this. The difference is those teams looked at it, learned from it, and moved on. You can't hang your head. This is sports. It happens sometimes. They deserve to beat us by 50 today. They played harder, they played rougher, they executed better, they were stronger with the ball. We just had passive guys that did not want to make plays, tentative, and that means you're going to have a 50-point bulge. Willie trying to figure out his way. We gave up 4 offensive rebounds in the first 2 minutes, 3 minutes. I mean, you're not going to win. And so we got to go back to the drawing board. I'm going to have to figure out exactly how we're going to have to play offensively and what we're going to have to do defensively, and we'll go from here. This one is, I'll burn the tape. I'm not watching this one.
John,
I had to sit through it, so I'm not going to sit through it again.
What had been the mood of the team the last couple of days? Did you see this?
They were
coming?
awful in practice. I did. Yesterday was our worst practice in 4 years, and I think it was because guys were a little bit. That's what I believe. It makes you anxious, it tires you out, it doesn't give you energy. You're worried that, I got to step up, and I'm not sure I have that. And we all believe, we look at it and say we do have it, but you're going to have to practice that way and prepare that way, and you're going to have to cover for each other. The reason we took the charges is I told them, if you don't take charges in this half, we are running 20-20s before practice, and then we're running them after practice on Monday. Well, they came out taking charges. Guess what? You don't have a shot blocker. You must take charges. We talked about it, but we got a couple guys that are basically not real coachable. You tell them over and over and over what you want to do, what we have to do, and they do their own thing. And that's where we are. And when they realize that if we don't do this all together, we're going to have many more of these. And it doesn't change. And it ain't, I got to do my thing to get us what's our schemes offensively and defensively, but we can't go out there and fight for them. We can't battle. We can't beat them to 50-50 balls as a staff. We can't want it more than they do. But that saying aside, if you watch practice, you kind of thought, uh-oh. And this team, they haven't beaten us in a while, kind of like Florida. They haven't beaten us in a while. Now this is their chance to hit it, get that wounded animal, and they rode the car over us a couple times. Over, back. Make sure we're done. And I don't, look, I said to my staff, Kwanzo had those guys in the end. I have absolutely no problem. He's trying to get his team right. I'm not worried about my team. He's trying to get his team right. And you know what? If they play that way, they're one of the best teams in our league.
Was there any concern about losing your composure with a couple of shoves? And John,
no, it got physical. My thing was, why would you do that? Why wouldn't you fight for balls? It was the guy pushed him in the back with 2 hands. He came up pushing. Well, but my point is, don't do that now. You're down 30. Why wouldn't you fight as the game was in the balance? And I understand that the out-of-bounds play, which should have been our ball, was a 3-point play, and then the technicals, and all of a sudden it goes from that, and then they go on a run, and all of a sudden the game's over right away, right after that. But that aside, the way we played and the way they played, even if we had Nerlens, we'd have gotten beat. Big. With Nerlens, we'd have gotten beat. Because we had 2 or 3 guys that couldn't play in the game. They couldn't get open. It's stuff, we've been talking about. But like I said, we'll regroup. I've done this for 20-some years. I've had this happen. The question is, will they respond coming back? And the only way you respond is you must change. Okay, what we were doing is not right. Let's change.
Kelly, you sat down at one point. I think they scored 8 straight early in the second half, and you'd been screaming and coaching, and you finally just sat down. Did you sort of just accept that that's what
I knew right after John was thrown and all that stuff happened, the game was done. Now, my thing was, let's keep fighting. Let's just battle. And what happened was, you're sitting there, and right out of the gate, we're doing some of the same stuff. you know, your hope is they have it in them to change. You just hope they have it in them to be tougher, to be more focused, to play for each other and versus playing for yourself. You hope it's in there. And I believe it is, or, you know, they wouldn't be here. But right now, we're not showing that.
John, you mentioned a couple of guys aren't coachable right now. How frustrating is that when you're in mid-February and that's still going on?
And that's why you say, well, you're being aggressive coaching them. That's part of it. We're leaving every time out. This is what you must do. Boom, boom, boom. And the guy comes out and does the opposite 3 things. Like, you know, we had a guy exhausted in practice yesterday, 30 minutes in. It's middle of February. You cannot be tired. Well, you're tired when you're a little bit shook. You're scared. You're anxious. It wears you out. So we got some growing up to do. This is a great, I'm telling you, for all of us, for us as a staff, for these players, what a great experience we're going to have to go through now. Because you're going to really find out about yourself. My team, look, it's been 8 years since we've had stuff like this happen. 8 years. So now good. Now me as a coach, how are you going to deal with it? You're going to quit on your guys, you're going to coach them. You're going to try to make them better. Is it about you or is it about them? If they're struggling, how are you going to get them right? Well, part of it was I started different players today. The other guys didn't deserve to start. You didn't bring it. So I'm going to try whatever I can, and at the end of the day, let's see where this goes. It doesn't look good right now, but I've had seasons where it's looked awful and went off, and I've had seasons where it looked real good and went the wrong way. It's what it is.
What do you think of Polson?
Thought he fought. He and Julius fought. 2 guys battled. 2 guys. The other guys, the matchup, again, you block my shot, what am I going to do down to that end? I'm blocking your shot. Well, I'm just going to give you a drive for a layup. How can you do that? You got to be more competitive than that. You're getting shoved 2 hands in the back in the post, and you're getting clubbed and pushed and put. Well, when he gets it in the post, what are you going to do to him? Let him drive you right under the goal and shoot it? Whoa. What does he do to you? You do to him. Again, you know, that's what young kids are learning. And obviously, Jared has played against all the guys that we've had the last few years, and Julius is a veteran. They understand you can't put your head down and you got to compete. But this, like I said, guys, I've come up here a few times and had this happen.
Was Golden more aggressive than you'd seen him on tape?
We let him go right. If you let him go right, he's going to get 20. If you were near our huddle, Golden's going right. Make him go the other way. And let him go right. Let him go right. Let him go right. Is anybody listening in this huddle? I mean, it was. That's why when you say, "Why did you sit down?" Tell you why. I'm wasting my breath here. You're not listening. But let me say this: he made his free throws. He was strong with the ball. He was good defensively. He denied. But he and McCray are hard right drivers, and they got to the right hand. Again, when you're rattled, you can't think. You can't. When you're anxious and you're fearful, you can't think. And then all of a sudden, the guy, "Why'd you let him go right?" My fault. What? So, but I got a young team. This is probably could have happened earlier than this.
John,
Last question, because I'm out of here.
What makes you think now that after not listening to you for 4 months, they would suddenly start listening in the next 4 weeks?
If they weren't embarrassed by this, to come to me and say, "Tell us whatever you want, we're going to listen to you," then they shouldn't be at Kentucky. You know that. So I think this was a great thing for us as a new team. All right, we're new. Nerland's got us to where we are right now. Okay, we got 4 home games and 2 more road games. What do you want to do? What you're doing isn't going to work. It already showed. What I did as a coach offensively did not work. What we tried to do defensively obviously was not good. So I got to go back. Let me do my thing. Let them do their thing, and let's see how this plays out.